really understood Garp. Definitely thoughtful.
Brilliant.
Indulgent. Very persistent. I'm very active. He's definitely arrogant. Naive.
And reckless. Unsatisfied. Definitely anxious.
Definitely had potential, though.
Obsessive.
Sporadic. Very cautious, I suppose.
Very Garp. Good evening.
Yeah.
How have the women in your life influenced your writing?
Okay. My novels are not autobiographical, alright? I mean, my whole life I've been surrounded by strong women, I guess. I mean, my mom's crazy. But, I guess the women in Bensonhaven are just... The way they're subjected to the anxieties and the mental weaknesses of men is an exaggeration of real life. In my experience, women are more mentally strong than men.
Feminism, as you said, has played a clear presence in your novel, The World According to Bensonhaven. How has feminism affected other areas in your life besides your writing?
It's not autobiographical, alright? I don't know how many times I have to tell you. And feminism has caused me a ton of anguish in my life. I mean, the women that my mom brings over, crazies, all of them. I mean, obviously women should have equal rights. It's just common sense. And the women fighting for them, they're fighting for a good cause, you know? But Ellen Jamesians, the extremities that the Ellen Jamesians go to is just ridiculous, okay?
So you're saying your marriage was not an inspiration for the very complex one in The World According to Bensonhaven.
Are you kidding me? Nothing in my novels is inspired by my real life, okay? I have an overactive imagination. That's why I'm a writer, alright? It's all fiction. It's all fiction, okay? Every marriage has its own problems, okay? And everyone has their own anxieties. I just magnified that in the World According to Bensonhaven, you know? Every marriage has its ups and downs. There's just have a lot of downs. That's what makes a story interesting. I can promise you nothing in my real life has inspired anything in my works.
Do you have anything to say about these rumors of constant affairs between you and your wife?
Are you f***ing kidding me? What? So, Helen, what do you value most in your relationship with Garp?
Well, Garp and I, we have a very practical relationship. It's very laid back. We have our routine, and we tend to split things, half and half, and have different responsibilities. I go out and work and make the money for the most part, while he stays at home and cares for the children, cooks, cleans. It's a very reversed relationship for today's times, but I like it. And we both have great literary minds. He is a brilliant writer, and I enjoy reading his brilliant works. I think we work very well together.
So, there have been quite a few rumors going around about potential affairs going on with you and your husband. Can you touch up on that?
I believe that my business is my business only, and this is none of yours.
Well, how has feminism affected your life?
Feminism has not so much affected me as an individual, more so my whole family. You see, Garp's mother and her followers are great activists for feminism and equal rights for women and men. And I believe that women should have equal rights. It is a given, and anybody that believes not is an imbecile. Sometimes the way in which feminism is affecting my family is good, and sometimes it's bad. But I believe that it has helped not only me grow, but also Garp, Jenny, and even my son Duncan. What was your motive in writing Asexual Suspect?
Well, I wanted to expose the way women in today's society are subjected to lust and the powers of men from my point of view, as someone who is objective to these absurdities. I wanted to show the way that women are victimized by society and the roles that it imposes. It was easy for someone like me to stay out of it all. I like to think that I'm completely unaffected by lust, and I do not let myself be overcome by the powers of men. I know you have more questions, but there's a kid here. He's got the runs. I really must go.
Elaborate more on these Ellen Jamesians.
Ellen Jamesians are the pimples on the face of activism, all right? The way they self-mutilate in order to speak out for the injustices of society is just ridiculous. It's disgusting. They're hypocritical and they're dangerous to the progress of society, all right? They're pieces of and they need to be stopped, okay? And you know what else?
I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't. I just can't. Not yet. Not yet.
Nice to see you again, Helen. Nice to see you. So, in your opinion, was the World According to Garp's way of dealing with your affair?
I think that the World According to Benson-Haver was Garp's way of dealing with his anxieties, mostly caused by the affair and the tragedy that happened after that. But these anxieties eventually got the best of Garp. Like the husband in Benson-Haver, Garp had many anxieties, one of which being his belief that my affair with Michael was one-sided, which is why he ties it together with this rape in Benson-Haver. You see, Garp used to put me on this pedestal and believe me to be this innocent being that was incapable of such harm. But that's not the case. And Garp tends to blame Michael, who is for the most part the antagonist in Garp's later life, for this tragedy that occurred to our entire family. But I do not blame Michael. I blame myself. I'm sorry, no more questions. I can't do this anymore. So, you knew Garp pretty well, didn't you?
Yeah, I like to think so. Garp and I corresponded for most of his professional life. And I like to think that when he wasn't writing novels, he was writing letters to me. Mostly hateful. But Garp was a genius. I'll give him that.
How do you think Garp's assassination affected his credibility as a writer?
Well, earlier in his life, Garp confided in me and the rest of his family that he planned on committing suicide. He said this was mostly just to up his credibility as a writer. And because that's what all the greatest writers have done. But I think God really just wanted to be kept alive in the minds of his family. You know, if he left them first, they could never abandon him. But then again, what do I know of him? The guy was a psycho. So, Duncan, what's your favorite memory of your father?
I would have to say that my favorite memory of me and my dad was one of the times, I can't choose, but one of the times at my grandmother's estate with Walt, swimming in the harbor or perhaps playing football, before the accident though.
Do you think that your father's cautious disposition brought out your own recklessness?
Well, I wouldn't definitely say that I'm reckless, but yes, to some extent, I think that my father's extreme carefulness brought out my carelessness. See, he sheltered me a lot, me and my brother, and later my sister. But there was only so much that he could do to save us from the world. And I don't think he ever figured that out. And in the end, him trying to save us just ended up hurting us even more.
So, Duncan, what did you struggle most with? Losing your eye or losing your arm?
Definitely my eye. I'm not sure if it was because I was younger at the time or the circumstances were just more intense. But there's a lot that I couldn't do because of my eye. There were activities that I couldn't participate in. There were career options that were no longer options. And I think that losing my eye didn't only just change my sight, it changed my perspective on the world and my parents, especially. The way I lost my eye really changed the way I saw my family. And, I mean, I'm a painter. I only need one arm to paint anyway.